Welcome back. We have an update from Aethlon Medical Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol AEMD. It's a medical therapeutic company focused on developing the Hemopurifier, a clinical stage immunotherapeutic device which is designed to combat cancer and life-threatening viral infections and for use in organ transplantation. Please welcome CEO and CFO Jim Frakes and Chief Medical Officer Stephen LaRosa. Welcome back to the conference, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hi.
Glad to be here. And Steve just got back from Australia training some of our clinical trial sites there. So I know we only have a brief 10 minutes to cover these points. So I'll just let Steve jump in and give an update. We're very excited.
Perfect.
Yeah, just to recall for the viewers, we have an experimental device called the Hemopurifier. It combines plasma filtration and affinity binding, and it's designed to remove viruses and extracellular vesicles. And the update is we have a clinical trial that we're embarking on in India as well as Australia that's focused as a safety, feasibility, and dose-finding trial in patients who are failing anti-PD-1 antibodies, pembrolizumab and Opdivo. It's in solid tumors. And it's to look at decreases in exosomes and in those patients. So we just came back from a trip to Australia where we had a very successful investigator meeting of 3 sites. We also had site visits to all those hospitals where we train them on the extracorporeal therapy with the Hemopurifier. 2 of those sites, Royal Adelaide Hospital and Pindara Private Hospital, have ethics approval and are open and are currently screening patients. So quite a lot of progress since we last spoke with you.
Sounds like it. Congratulations on that. And talk a little bit about what the goal of your current trial with the Hemopurifier is. What is it?
Yeah, so the first goal and the major objective is to prove that the therapy can be delivered safely in patients with cancer. So that's the number one, is to see the safety profile of patients treated with the device. The design also incorporates looking at extracellular vesicles and T-cell responses to see if removal of extracellular vesicles can be achieved with the Hemopurifier in patients, and if that translates into an improvement in the ability of the immune system to fight tumors. And that would be read out as T-cell responses. So that is the main secondary and exploratory objectives. We also it's going to include a number of tumor types. So we want to see, does the device improve EV levels and T cells in all tumor types or in specific tumor types, with the whole goal of providing the data that would inform the design of a subsequent clinical efficacy trial.
And talk a little bit about how what the advantages are with conducting these trials in Australia and India.
Jim, do you want?
Sure. With Australia, first of all, they have world-class medical system, great doctors. The FDA recognizes data from trials in Australia. They also have a very beneficial R&D tax credit for life science companies. If you operate in Australia, you can recoup 43 cents on the dollar. That's not a tax credit, that's actually cash one time a year for the previous year. So that can bring down the cost of trials in Australia quite a bit, about 43% in fact. And why India? Because the particular group of physicians at Medanta Medicity Hospital, which is a world-class hospital as well, they are really the world's experts. They've done 4 clinical trials for us over the years, basically in virology, but it's the same doctors doing the treatments, and they're using the head of the oncology department at Medanta Medicity. So we're very comfortable with them. They're very comfortable with us. It just made sense to work with them again. So that's why we picked those 2 locations. Low cost, good medicine in both places. And the doctors know us well and our product well.
And when do you expect to enroll your first patients?
Right. So as I mentioned, 2 sites are open and they're actively screening patients. So we could expect enrollment at any time now. We would hope to enroll someone here this calendar year. But yeah, it could be at any time now, since we know they're actively looking at patient records and approaching patients.
And can you use this data collected in Australia and India for the US FDA?
So we specifically designed the trial, both the protocol and the electronic data capture, which is the electronic case report form, with the idea in mind that it would fit all the ICH and GCP principles and would be acceptable. The data would be presented in a format that would be acceptable to the FDA. As you probably know, there's a long history of companies doing early stage clinical trials in Australia. And if you design it, as I've mentioned, that data is well accepted by the FDA.
And
talk a little bit. Also,
mm-hmm.
If I may, on the 4 previous clinical trials that I mentioned with the same physicians in India, when we have submitted virology IDEs to the FDA, they did accept the data from India. So we have no reason to think it wouldn't be acceptable this time.
Fantastic. And when do you think you will have patient results that you can share with investors and the viewers?
Right. Well, it's all based on enrollment, of course. But given that we're open for enrollment and could enroll, we could have the data will come in kind of 2 forms. One will be the safety data, which will come in almost immediately after patients are treated with the Hemopurifier. That would come in earlier than there'd be a lag then for the extracellular vesicle and the T cell data. But we would expect some data on safety early next year, probably first quarter, and maybe the EV data and T cell data to follow on probably in the 3rd quarter of next year.
Wonderful. Well, gentlemen, do you have any closing remarks for our viewers today?
Well, we do have our earnings call coming up for the September quarter, November 13th. And I'd encourage any interested shareholders or prospective shareholders or just people that have an interest in our technology to listen in. So that's in 2 weeks.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for this update, and we look forward to seeing you real soon.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back.